Hi, it's Angela Long, one of the design team members for Tonic Studios. I just wanted to share a tutorial with you of a cute little purse bag that I made for the magazine. On the magazine I've used pattern paper. There's only patterned on one side so that you could see all the score lines, but I wanted to show how it looked with the papers made with the papers that are in the kit. The papers in the kit are double-sided, so I just wanted to share with you how I made it. I've cut all my pieces out ready. So from my A4, the first thing I've done, I've cut 3 strips off on the length, and it's just shy of 1.5 centimetres, so I've cut 3 of them. And then I've cut my piece. This has got a pattern on it, so I wanted all the bobbles the right way, so I've laid it on my guillotine like that, and I've cut it at 16 centimetres by 20 centimetres, and then I've cut another piece 9 centimetres by 8 centimetres. Then I've used the cornflower blue Craft Perfect, and I've cut 2 strips of 1/2 centimetre wide and 3 strips, and they're 1 centimetre wide. And I've got 2 magnets, and I've cut a couple of the snowflakes out from the die set as well. So this is how I put my bag together. It's making this little like purse bag, so I'll show you how I made it. I've got my scoreboard ready, so with the 16 centimetres at the top, let me turn it over to centimetre side. With the pattern facing me, I've got 16 centimetres along the top, and I've scored at 3.5, and again at 12.5. Then I've turned it to the 20 centimetres along the top, and on this one I'm scoring it at 8 and at 12. While it's in this position, I'm also going to make a little mark at 4.5. You can either use a pencil or you could just dent it with your ball tool, but I'll use a pencil for now. So it's at 4.5 and again at 15.5. And turn it all the way round and do the same again. 4.5 and 15.5. So that's all my scoring done. So that's all I want to do now, is reinforce my score lines. Right, where I've done my marks, I want to, where these 2 score lines cross over, I want to go from the centre point there up to the mark I made. So you can either do that with a ruler and a ball tool, or you can do it on your scoreboard. So I'll bring my scoreboard back in. So I'm finding where they cross over the 2 lines there. So I'm putting my ball tool in the centre, and I'm going to find a groove on my scoreboard, and then I got to find where my pencil mark is, and I'm just going to score to that point. Again on this side, put it in the centre, find where it is, do my score line. So I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. It is difficult to see when it's on pattern paper, but you can just about manage it. And again, there's my crossover point, put in the groove, line it up to my pencil line. So now that is all the scoring done. So if you've used a pencil, you can just rub out your little marks that you've made so you don't see it on your pattern paper. So that's all scored and creased now. So that's all I want to do now is, because you've already put the score line in place there, it knows where it wants to fold. So that's all I want to do is line this end up with this end here. So if you just bend it back on itself, then it lines up on this, on the sides. So you just do that, press it down, turn it on the inside, and just go over your creases to make them nice and crisp. And then you do that on all 4 sides. Again, that'll just want to fold over on itself. Line it up, reinforce the score line. Because it's already been creased, it knows where to fold, so it's not too difficult to do. Last one, push them together and it'll find its score line. And then just go over that crease. So that's all your score lines done. So then your bag closes up. You can push your finger in the sides there just to give it a little more of a shape to the bag, but that's all your scoring done. So that's all you need to do now is add your glue. I like to use wet glue, but you can use double-sided tape if you want to. And I'm not going all the way down to this score line, but I'm just going halfway, and I'm just adding glue on all my 4 corners. I'm gluing it, putting the glue close to the edge to make sure that it is all stuck down. So that's all you want to do is fold it in on itself. Make sure they line up on the edges and stick it down. You can go over it with your bone folder to make sure it's got a good grab there. So that's all your scoring done, and that's the start of your bag. You can push it down a little bit to give it a bit of shape, but that's your main part of your bag done. So because I used pattern paper, if I look at this side of the bag, they are all facing the right way. Because it's come up, gone around and come back up, it's upside down on this side. So that's why I've cut a piece that's 9 centimetres wide, the same as the bag, and 8 centimetres in length. So I'm going to glue that over the top, so now my baubles are facing the right way on both sides. So I'm just going to stick that on the front. Again, going close to my edge. Making sure that they're the right way up. And I'm just going to line that up and stick it in place. So now my baubles are facing the right way on both sides. sure it's all stuck down. Right, so for my handles I'm using the 1/2 centimetre strips, so I've got 2 of them, so I'm just going to cut them to the length that I want. It's usually about 15 centimetres, I think. Yeah, about 15 centimetres. So I'm just going to lay the 2 together and trim them. And then I'm just running them through my fingers just to give a little bit of shape. And then I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back, right on the tips. Again, you could use red liner tape if you wanted to, but I just like using the wet glue. So if I'm using my glass mat, I can lay my bag down on the glass mat and I can follow the measurements to know that they're both a centimetre away from the edge. But for now I'm just doing it as guesswork, so I think that's about a centimetre. So I'm just sticking that to the front of my bag, but I'm not bringing it, it's a centimetre from the side to the strap, but I'm not bringing it further down than the centimetre, because I'll be using a centimetre strip to hold the handles in place. So I'm just holding that on there, and then, oops, and then I'm just going to try and make them equal and glue that one on that side. So I'm just holding it for the glue to set. That should be done. And again on the other side. Just add in a little bit of glue on both sides. And again roughly a centimetre from the side. Hold it in place, and then a centimetre from the other side. I'll hold the 2 down for a minute. So that's my 2 handles on. So now I'm taking my centimetre strip and just adding a bit of glue on the back. And this is going to edge my bag and also hold my handles in place. So I'm just going to line it up to the side of my bag and to the top. Hold it in place for the glue to grab. Turn it over and trim off the excess. And I like to do it on the inside as well, because I think it gives a neater finish. So just add in more glue, and then again lining it up to the edge and to the top. Make sure that is stuck and trim off the excess. And again do the same on the other side. Line it up to the side, on the top, hold it in place. onto the inside of that side. I'll trim off the excess. So that is your bag made. So that's all we need now is a closure. So for my closure, I've cut out 2 of the bauble shapes that's in the kit, in the die kit, and it's scored along the centre. So on one, I'm just going to fold that in half, and on the other one, I'm going to trim it just this side, either side of the score line down the centre. So I'm just cutting it a little shorter. So that's one side, and again I'm cutting this side a little bit shorter. So really I'm cutting that bit away from the centre so it will line up when I have my magnet. So I'm just adding a little bit of tape onto half of the flap, and then I'm going to add my magnet to the centre to hold it in place. And I'm going to add a bit of glue. And then I'm going to place this in the centre in between my handles. Try and get it as central as possible, and up to the top line. Then I'm just going to hold that in place. That should be stuck on there. And then on this, the one that I folded in half, I'm going to add tape on one side, and I'm going to add glue onto the back. And then I'm just going to drop my magnet on the top, and the glue is going to go on the back of the bag, and this bit where I put the tape is going to go over the magnet, so it'll pick up the magnet on there, so I know that it'll be in the right place. Just hold that a little bit longer to make sure it's stuck. So with the where the wet glue is, that's going to go in the back. So I'm going to lay that over the top where the magnet is and line it up, and then I'm going to close my bag make sure they're lined up, and then fold the flap over and hold it for a few seconds to make sure that the glue is stuck to the back panel of the bag. And then this one where the tape is should now hold the magnet, so when you lift it up it's held your magnet in place. Make sure that is stuck to the back. So now I'm just going to add wet glue on here to line the inside and to hide the magnet. So I've got my glue, and then I'm just going to line that up. Hold it for a couple of seconds. So that gives it a neater finish, plus it encloses your magnet so you don't see it. So that should be all stuck now. So now when you close your bag, remove my handles a minute. So now when you close your bag, the magnet is in the right place to hold it closed. you can push it down or put your finger in there to give it a bit more shape. So that's your bag done, but you can leave it just plain like that, but I want to add another strip along the bottom. So with my third piece that I cut, that was 1 centimetre wide, I'm just going to add the glue to the back, line it up with the side and the base. Trim it off. And again on the other side. I just think it gives a neater finish having the trim on the top and the bottom. So that's that side done. So that's your bag made. So that's all I've done then. I've cut out my little snowflakes. So I'm just going to lay these on top of each other. And I'm rotating them slightly so you can see the 3 different colours. And then I'm just going to add that to my clasp. So that's just to give a little decorative panel to my clasp. And when that's dry, you can lift the ends up. So that's your bag all made, and with the strips I cut in the beginning, what I've done is they were just under 1.5 centimetres by the full length of the A4, so I'm just folding it in half, and then I'm just going to cut them. And what I've done is, these are little tea lights. I'm going to make this bag to hold some tea lights, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. You can add it on with double-sided, but I just like using wet glue, and then I know it can be torn off before the recipient lights the candle to make sure there's no fire hazard. So I'm just sticking that on one side, and I'm going to wrap it around the whole candle, line it up, hold it down till it grabs. So then you've got your matching candle to match your bag. So I've already wrapped the others. So this bag can hold 4 if you stack them 2 high and 2 next to each other. So that can be to hold 4, and it'll hold them nicely. Or if you add them sideways, it'll hold 6. So it all depends how many you want to give, whether you want to give 4 or 6. and that's all you'd have to do then is add on a sentiment from the kit, so that could be tied around the handle, or you could add one along the front, or again on ribbon to the handle. Or if it was for a child, you could add little miniature sweets or a lipstick. There's a few things that'll fit in, but it holds 6 lengthways. Or take 2 out. And it'll add 4 stacked that way. So that's your bag made. So hope this was of help to you, and if you make them, share them in the group so we can all see everyone's variation on them. And one good thing, if you're making them and you want to make them and have them all ready, they'll still fold flat for you to be able to store them. Or you could be making 3, putting them in a jiffy into a polythene bag, and then they could be for sale on your craft stall. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial and look forward to seeing your makes. Thank you.